Hello, Sam here. How are we all doing? Hope we're doing well. Hope we're seeing some good recovery progress. Just remember, if you're having a bad day or having a setback, that feeling of how you're feeling does not last forever. That does not indicate how you're going to feel forever. Okay, a key point to remember. Right, so I wanted to jump on here today and talk about my personal journey and my relationship with guilt. So I talk about it a lot. Now, the themes I've suffered with are POCD, harm OCD, false memory, real event OCD, hit and run OCD, cheating OCD. I could go on all night. So any guilt-related theme was the main thing for me. Feeling that chronic guilt, that chronic shame, panicking, and feeling anxious all the time. I was completely consumed in that cycle. Now, you could ask, okay, what is that guilt feeling like? Now, if I talk about the main thing that I suffered with and I had the guilt feeling, and the main thing was that nothing else mattered. That's what accompanied the guilt. So not being let off the hook, or not having a minutes or seconds peace because of this one thing in the past. So if I give a quick example now, I'll go into some more in the video, but I could have a job interview coming up. But that job interview didn't matter because of this thing 5-10 years ago. So life's meaningless. All I can focus about is something that happened 10 years ago, caught up in that rumination, analysing cycle, and whatever I'm going through now, I could have a big event coming up, doesn't matter. All I can think about is something in the past, and just caught up in that guilt, saying you're undeserving of any joy, any compliment, any reward that you might get. You're getting a job, getting a pay rise. No, I did this one thing in the past, and that's it. I can't enjoy that. I don't deserve it. Blah blah blah. Okay, so that was the main thing with me. Nothing else mattered. So let me go into some more examples or some more details with how it affected me. So it was mainly the locks on of false memory, real event from the past. Mainly around my teenage years, where I can't quite remember what happened, latching on to events there. Let's say when I was driving. So can't quite recall how close that pedestrian was or how close that cyclist was. So let's say I was driving into work or driving to a job interview or just driving to a football match, driving to something that I wanted to go to and wanted to enjoy, wanted to do well, wanted to succeed. Now that would then ruin that because I'll be so caught up in that guilt that I can't enjoy this football match now because of this thing. I'm sure you can relate to this if you're suffering with these themes. So you're saying, I can't enjoy that football event now. That music event is now ruined because of this one thing. Whether it be that something has just happened or whether it be something that's 5-10 years ago. And this is what this was what I know all too well. This was my life for the past 5 years. You could have said something and then you're analysing or you're ruminating. What do they think of you? Because their reaction, you couldn't quite work out what their reaction was. Did they take it the wrong way? Did they know I was joking? And just caught up in your head and not seeing what's in front of you, not looking at how amazing life is or whatever you're going to do. You're ignoring that because you're so caught up. The example I give is a false memory real event. You're so caught up in that whatever you're doing now is just meaningless, means nothing. I mean, when I was really bad, this is an example I always give to you football fans out there. I feel like if my team got promoted, which would be like a massive thing, the whole local community would be going mad and everyone would be partying. It wouldn't matter to me because I'd be there and putting on a brave face and celebrating, but I'd be so caught up in my own head, caught up in a guilt cycle, caught up in a shame cycle, and just saying, look, if only you knew this, only if you knew that, I don't deserve any of this, I can't have any joy, I deserve to be punished forever. Things like that. When I look back, it is absolutely crazy. But this is the feelings that I know all too well. This was my life, like I said, for the past 5 years. Now, you've got to remember with OCD that the reason it is a disorder and it is what it is. If you could just say, well, that's an OCD thought and move on, I wouldn't be sat here making this video. Rob wouldn't make his videos. Nick or Moomin wouldn't make their videos. We would say that's an OCD thought and move on, and we'd all crack on with our lives, dancing down the street, happy as Larry. But that's not how it works, as we all know. So it's going to make it feel as real as it can possibly get. It's going to convince you that it's totally real, and within a matter of seconds. It doesn't go, all right, just gradually make it real. Boom, it can be straight in there, instantly, very intense, take all your attention away. This is serious, that doesn't matter, this is all that matters now, and that's how it felt with me. So everything in the now or in the future can suddenly feel like a waste of time or just completely meaningless. All right, let me give you some more examples. I really want to explain and hope you understand what I mean by this. I'm sure if you do suffer with this, you're going to completely understand it. But let's say I had a holiday coming up, and my OCD would have latched to something 5 years ago, or a drunken night out. All right, have you cheated? Let's give that example. It could be anything. I could look at someone, boom, you've cheated, and then just go down twisting it and completely manipulate it and convince you that you've cheated. So the holiday that I would now have coming up would feel like a completely pointless, feel like a waste of time, no point even going, waste of money, don't waste your money, Sam. You just don't go, you wouldn't enjoy it, it's gonna be ruined. And that's how quick it used to get me on. It could be anything. You were driving yesterday afternoon and that's it. A recent life example, I proposed to my girlfriend, my fiance, and I could have gone, no, I'm not going to do that because there's one thing in the past, it's drunken night out 10 years ago, blah, blah, blah. All right, I hope you can understand where I'm coming from here. Now, if I talk about the realness side of it, I've already touched on it, the reason it feels so real is because of the sort of it is, but you're not gonna get certainty whether it's real or not. That's the main thing that you need to know. It's a futile pursuit. It's a chase that OCD is gonna keep moving the boundaries, gonna keep moving the goalposts. It's gonna keep you in the locked on cycle, and it's gonna gradually, you feel like you're gonna get there, and it's gonna nestle just out of reach if you're chasing that certainty. So you're never gonna get that. You've got to accept. You've got to lean towards the worst case scenario, and it brings me on to my next point. And how do we get under this? So it's the same tools as I've laid out in my previous videos. All right. So the main thing here with the guilt and the nothing else matters is the unconditional acceptance. Absolutely massive with me. I cannot highlight it enough. People who message me, people who talk to me, the main thing that I advocate and scream and shout and rant and rave about is unconditional acceptance. Okay? If you can accept yourself unconditionally and you're not rating yourself as a person, you're only rating the act, it makes a world of difference. Okay? It's not something that you just learn overnight. It's a gradual perspective shift, seeing all different life perspectives, gradually shaping your beliefs and working on your fears, working on what's keeping you stuck. Unconditional acceptance is yourself, it's other people, and it's life in general. Okay, it depends how far along you're on the journey, but if you don't know what unconditional acceptance even is, I'd recommend reading the books on the reading list. If you go on OCD recovery, under the resources tab, it will be listed on there. The first book, How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable, will introduce you into your thinking and your rigid musts and your shoulds. But the main one for unconditional acceptance is a myth of self-esteem. Huge one about rating acts and how that's not possible, or how can you measure acts, etc. A book that I definitely recommend reading. So if you're not writing yourself off from one act, if you're just rating that act, let me give an example. So let's say I harm someone. Now, although things would have led to me to do that, I'm not saying, okay, that's it, black and white, I've harmed someone, that's it, I'm the worst person in the world. I may regret that act, I may strongly dislike that act and really wish I didn't do that, but I can learn from that and work on my behaviours that led me to do that, or my beliefs that led me to harm someone, etc. But if I said, because I've harmed someone, that's it, I'm totally no good, No one's gonna like me. Everyone's gonna hate me. Everyone's gonna want to kill me. I'm undeserving of any peace, any joy. Blah blah blah. If I'm saying that, then there's no wonder you're caught up in that guilt cycle. It's no wonder you feel chronic shame. Okay, so we need to evaluate the act, and we rate the act, same as other people. We can rate their traits, rate their performance. Let's give a footballer, for example. I think you're rubbish at football, but you're not saying that's it, the person's shit, that's it, they're rubbish at everything because they're rubbish at football. They might have just had a bad match. Okay, it's not a very good example, but I'm trying to relate to people who would watch these videos. Okay, so now if we're also rating the person as well as the act, that's what we call conditional self-acceptance. So you're only accepting yourself even when you do well. What about when you do bad? So you're saying, well, I accept myself when I do well. When I do bad, I can't accept myself. And that's going to go down the rabbit hole. That's going to lead to a lot of emotional disturbance. And with OCD, that's going to latch to that. It's going to have an absolute field day. Hence why I can't highlight breaking down fears and breaking down your irrational beliefs. Absolutely vital. Just look at are you saying I can't stand it? Are you saying musts? Look at your shoulds, look at your oughts. Are you saying that shouldn't happen? This shouldn't happen in life. I deserve to be happy. They deserve to treat me fairly. They should be considerate of my feelings. Are you saying things like that? Are you rigidly holding on to them? Just have a look at your beliefs. I've already touched on the books. I can't highlight the importance of them under the resources page on the OCD recovery website. So perspective shifts, I'll get out in a minute, are absolutely crucial. If I give an example. So recently I've watched war films and war series, A, because I enjoy them, and B, because it really helps me shift perspective and just seeing how lucky I am, even with OCD, to be alive and to be getting up and not in a concentration camp, or not sleeping in a ditch or sleeping in a trench, knowing that I could get bombed at any time. And you really realise how lucky you are. Okay, so I know in the midst of chronic OCD suffering, you feel like you feel completely, you feel like it's unbearable, that you can't go on. But it's those gradual perspective shifts. And if I say, okay, well, I don't like OCD, and this is really, really tough, challenging journey, but it could always be a lot worse. There's other diseases that could be a lot worse than having OCD. Okay. Also, it's like Viktor Frankl, another book on the reading list, Man's Search for Meaning. He talks about when he was in a concentration camp at Auschwitz and stuff that showing that what humans can endure and find meaning of their suffering. Massive perspective shifts. I cannot highlight that enough. All right, you don't have to go chasing after this video. You don't have to go chasing perspective shift. How can I be grateful towards life? It comes gradually. Just gradually looking at, why am I so rigid here, and looking at examples like that and applying them to your own thinking. When we have feelings of nothing else matters, when you're caught up in that guilt cycle, it's so easy to then avoid important life events. I love going to football, I avoided football matches. I love holidays, but I started avoiding them, or just putting off even talking about them, because OCD would then be bad. I'd feel like I'll be more prone to setbacks. Or if I'm already feeling guilty, I'd feel 100 times more guilty on a holiday, because I feel like I should be enjoying myself. You're going to feel like it's pointless even going. No point going out with my friends. You're just going to feel like there's no point in anything. It's all going to just feel meaningless. I know that feeling. I know that feeling so well. Okay, so we need to live our life and strive for our goals, regardless of how we're feeling. That's been the main thing for me. So if I give an example of running, let's say, sometimes I don't want to go for a run. Okay, that's not to say I'm going for a run every day and compulsively exercise in OCD way. No, I'm not saying that. But sometimes you're going to need that push. You're going to need that oomph to do things regardless of how you're feeling. Recovery journey, reading the books. When you're triggered, the last thing you probably want to go do is pick up a book and read about your beliefs and read about perspectives and read about your nerves and bringing it for the ride. That's the last thing you want to do. You're going to want to go into a comfort trap. You're going to want to scroll. You're going to want to watch TV. You're going to want to watch porn. You're going to want to get a quick, instant fix. Okay. So we've got to look at doing things that we don't want to do regardless of how we're feeling. That's a big, big thing to make progress with OCD recovery. So that's mainly that. I hope you can relate to it, especially if you're caught up in the guilt cycle. And there is, you can get out of that. I know how hopeless it can feel when you're caught up in a guilt cycle. The worst thing with me, it'd be you feel like you're getting somewhere and then boom, slap back into a guilt cycle where you're like, oh fuck, here we go again. Because you then start fearing it. You then start fearing that nothing else is going to matter. Because if you're starting to enjoy life and then boom, you're back in with the, oh for fuck's sake, I can't enjoy it. I don't deserve any joy now. If only they knew, blah blah blah. Okay, so there is hope. You really can get better. And you're just going to have to put the work in and look at those beliefs, and getting better will come with time. No guarantee. If you're going to put in the work in and you're giving it your best shot, who knows what might fucking happen. You might get some sort of progress. It's more than likely that you will. Okay, so cool, 16 minutes, wow. So before I ramble on even more, if you have enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you want me to elaborate on any points that I've said in this video, please leave a comment. Any suggestions for future videos for me, I'll happily do them. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. Before I end, the pressure's been on because I've had a dog staring at me. But as soon as I've turned around, he's actually looked away. But you can probably see him. There he is, over there. He's gone to sleep now, and he's thinking, when is he going to have his walkies? There we go. We'll look up now. So the pressure's been on. Right, have a lovely day, and keep putting in the work. You will get there.